Hey, welcome everyone. So in today's lecture, we are going to talk about a general workflow of how Docker works. So in the day-to-day life, what a developer does is that he writes a Docker file, as you can see here. So Docker file is basically a text file that contains all the commands and instructions that are required to build a Docker image. So the developer will commit this Docker file, and here, if you see, is going to run the Docker build command to build this particular Docker image. Docker image is nothing but an executable file. So from this Docker image, the dev is going to run the command Docker run, and it will start running the Docker container. Docker container is nothing but a running instance of the Docker image. Now, once we have the Docker image, we can push it to a central repository. That central repository usually can be Docker Hub or JFrog or Nexus, anything, right? Usually, Docker itself provides us a central repo, which is Docker Hub. Here we can have a public repository, or also we can have our own customized private repository so that no one else is able to access our image. Now we push our image to the Docker Hub. Now it's available for everyone within the organization. So what people can do is, if they want to run this particular application in their local machine, on AWS machine, wherever they want, what they can do is they can do a Docker pull from here. They can do a Docker pull. So when they do a Docker pull, what is going to happen is that they will get the Docker image on their local machine, and then they can do the Docker run command, and they can start running the Docker container, and they have their application ready. Now, guys, how this looks like in a day-to-day life when you are trying to build an application. It could be a Java application, a .NET application. How it would look like is, let's say we have, let's say we plan to Dockerize a Spring Boot application, a Java application. So let's say this is my Spring Boot application, and I'm trying to build this application. Now I want to Dockerize it. So along with the source code, what we are going to commit is we are going to write a Docker file with all the instructions, and then we are going to build the Docker image. Out of the Docker image, we do a Docker run, and the Docker container starts running. In the next lecture, guys, we are going to start like a real-time scenario where we are going to write our own Spring Boot application, and we are going to do a live Dockerization of that Spring Boot application, and I'm going to push that in the central repository, and then I'm going to pull in different machines. For today, this is enough. Thank you so much.